Good evening, guys. Happy Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces, guys. I'm already in my pajamas. I am ready for bed. I am about ready to actually probably brush my teeth and then go to bed because I already took a shower earlier, because me and Jack ended up getting the entire back room all primed today in anticipation for painting. Well, okay, not entirely done. We did all of the walls. We did 3 coats of primer just because we had to cover up like over some of the patches that were done in there, because I think I was telling you guys there was like 2, well, there was one spot that had to be patched that was on the ceiling. It wasn't all that bad, but I think it was water damage from like they I think when they redid the roof, or like when actually the like owners previous to us had just put a new roof on, but they didn't do like the side of the house that has the flat roof. There's also one part of the like the pitch that is still like not dormered out. I think they never did that side. It had all of the old shingles still on it. And then I want to say too, maybe, I don't remember exactly what happened, but then when we ended up getting the roof redone, they also didn't do it or something like that. But then I want to say that when we had the flat roof redone, they did end up doing it. So, or something really weird like that. Just because like the entire like rest of the house has like the pitch, but then we have a flat roof. And so it's like on the other side of the flat roof, and it's like this one little like part, but I don't think that it was ever replaced, or like they didn't do it properly, like they didn't do a full tear off, they just like re-shingled over it, something weird like that. I don't entirely know. But anyways, it was not like that part was not done properly, so there was some slight water damage in the corner. Actually really wasn't that bad. Like the first, like the part of the drywall kind of started to like peel a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but you could kind of tell like something wasn't really right with it. And so that's why we ended up getting that like fixed. And then there were 2 outlets that we had cut in that are no longer outlets. My dad ran it before when it was my mom's office so that we could put raceway on it. There was an outlet lower down below, but it was right where the desk was gonna go, so my dad just blanked that over, and then he like fished up a new outlet, and then we put raceway along the whole wall there. But now we took the raceway down and then ended up getting rid of the outlet that was there originally. We moved it back down to the place that it was before. So basically we just undid what we did like when we ended up having it as my mom's office, because like my dad was saying, if you have an outlet and you have like a splice point, you have to leave it as a blank. It's not a blank, so we just covered it back over. Like I said, it was like it was never there before. It was just we undid what we had already done. So we ended up putting a like covered back over that. And then also to the there was one that had like an old phone jack or something like that my dad had already taken out, and so that also we needed to have put like, you know, like repatched. And then there was just other holes and stuff like that, because we had cabinetry in there that was from my mom's like built-in desk that we had, so there was also like those kind of big things that had to be done. So like not huge, but they had like anchors in them, so they're significantly bigger than like little nail holes. That was what our contractor was doing when he was here over last week, and ended up you know, like I said, fixing all that drywall stuff. But then when we went to go and prime, it took about 3 coats to cover over like the new like drywall that he, and the patches that he had put in also. So like I said, it took about 3 coats of that. So me and Jack ended up getting that all done on the walls. My dad still had one more coat to do on the ceiling and also in the corners, but we ran out of primer. We went through 2 cans of primer. We still are going to need another one so my dad can finish the ceiling, and then we'll need it for in here too, like when we paint and prime this room as well. So it's not that big of a deal, because we're like, we just need like a little bit more just to finish the ceilings, and then my dad has to do one more coat of the like trim, or not the trim, but like the corners and everything like that. But yeah, we ended up running out, so it's not that big of a deal, because like I said, we'll need to reuse it for the other rooms, the rest of the can that will most likely still be left over. But then my dad went today because, well, and then the thing is though, is that he's gonna have to do the ceiling first. So even though he still has to prime the ceiling, then he's gonna have to paint the ceiling again as well. So, and then that's probably gonna be maybe another 2 coats or something like that. So most likely me and Jack are not going to be able to do any painting tomorrow, but either way we can't anyway because we don't have the paint. My dad went to Ace to go and pick it up because my mom had the type and the color that she wanted picked out, and she was going to get it from Ace, like whatever brand they had there. I think it was the Bear like paint. So she went and picked it out, picked out the color. My dad goes to Ace. They're out of like the I think it's like the satin, like not semi-gloss, maybe semi-gloss, something like that, out of that, like the base for it. So he was not able to get it, but he got the ceiling paint. So they don't have it back in stock until Wednesday. But then I reminded my dad that over near the Goodwill where we go to drop off some of the donations and stuff like that, there's an Ace right next to it. And I was like, why don't you just go there instead of the one that's like near us in town? You can just go over there and pick it up from that Ace. Hopefully they will have the base for it, and then we'll be able to go like by Tuesday instead of having to wait until Wednesday. And then we won't have to wait until Wednesday when my dad gets home from work to go and pick it up, and he'll have, you know, tomorrow to be able to finish the ceiling hopefully. And then if not, maybe just if there's still like one more coat that has to be done, he can fully finish it on Tuesday and put like one more coat on, and then me and Jack can do the walls on Tuesday if he's able to get the paint tomorrow. Or in like, again, to me and Jack can do it maybe on Tuesday then, and then finish rolling the walls and get those all done. And then maybe by Wednesday, like I said, it still might work into the timeline possibly. It might be a little bit later only because, like I said, my dad's not finished with the ceiling. The only problem is I cannot do the ceiling. When I was trying to do that upstairs, like trying to prime the ceiling, that's what hurt my neck I think the most. I was good for like everything else. I also have like the stick on the end of the roller, but like looking up and trying to do it also too, because I feel like I'm shorter. Like for Jack it might not be as difficult, my dad too, because they're, even though they still use the pole, you know, with the roller on the end, they're still kind of closer to the ceiling because they're taller. So I feel like it's not as difficult for them, but for me, I'm like all the way down here, like barely being able to like roll it, and like I can't put enough pressure into it either because I'm not close enough to the ceiling. And so I feel like that's what hurt my neck when I was trying to do it when we were painting and priming upstairs. Again too, I think even when I painted this room, I think Matthew did the ceilings because we were painting this room, me and him did this room together. I believe that he painted the ceiling for the most part because I don't ever remember painting the ceiling except for when I tried to do it upstairs and realized I could not do it. So Jack might be able to like possibly do it, but as of right now we don't even have the primer to be able to finish. We still need one more coat of primer on there, and then we have to do the actual ceiling paint, which we do have because, like I said, my dad went to Ace and he picked that up, but we don't have the paint color for the walls. So, and we have to do the ceiling first before we can do the walls. So anyways, that is what we were looking at. But again too, the timeline still looks almost, it could be as good as we had planned on, which would be done by Wednesday. I personally, like I said, just because if we're not finished even priming the ceiling yet, we still have to wait on that, and then we have to do probably again another 2 coats possibly of ceiling paint on there, and having to wait for it to dry is what will probably be a little bit more difficult because like today we did 1 coat of primer, and it took like, I don't know, 4 hours I think for it to dry. Finally at the end my dad was like, well, I'm gonna open up the back door so we can like, you know, get some air, some breeze in here. And after that it dried so quickly, and then we did a second coat right after that, you know, like once it was completely dry we did a second coat, and it only took like an hour or 2 I think after that was dry because we left the door open. We were like, we should have done that from the beginning because it took so long in the first coat for it to dry, and the second coat took like no time at all to dry, and we were able to get the third coat on. So again, we were able to get all of that done today, which was really awesome. And again too, very close to possibly being done. Absolute worst case scenario I think would be like the latest the weekend, you know, like by next week for sure at, you know, like I said, bare minimum our contractor, as long as he's available, can, you know, be back here to be able to do the floors next week, but possibly even to like mid to late week during this week, even possibly be done and see if he can come out at some point then. But again, by next week, you know, the floors will hopefully at least have been started, or, you know, like by this time next week, we should hopefully have everything done. Just kind of depends again too on what our contractor schedule looks like, and then also to, you know, again to whatever the paint situation is. Hopefully this other Ace will have it in stock and we'll be able to get the, you know, like I said, the paint for that. And then we do have to get the trim paint as well, but that's not important because there's no trim other than actually around the back door. We never took that trim off because when we got the back door replaced, they did that trim and we really didn't want to take it off. So it might be a little tough to sand around that spot just because when you're doing the floors, you're supposed to take the trim off. So like the baseboards, that is the only thing that's not done, like taken off on the wall. The other door, like trim around the like interior door is done, but the outside like slider that we have, we didn't end up taking that off. So hopefully that does not pose a problem, but they just did a really good job. And my dad's like, I don't want to take it off and I have to try and put it back on. And so again too, we're hoping that that's not going to be, like I said, any kind of problem or anything like that. But there's no, like I said, trim other, like that's up other than around the window trim is still on there too. But we're not going to paint that until after, you know, everything else is done. And we're gonna, you know, we can paint the trim separately, like, you know, like out in the backyard, paint it and then put it on, and then just cover over whatever, like, you know, again to the nail holes or however we're gonna do it, and then just fill those in and then paints, you know, do a little touch-up work on it as well. So I don't know how we're gonna go about doing it, or if we want to put it on and then paint it, or like I said, whatever. But that is like way down the line. We just don't have the color, or not the color, but we don't have the paint for that, which is just going to be, I suggested we go with a high gloss, which is what the trim in my room is. It cleans so easily, and the back room is notorious for being a very dirty room because of the sliding back door, and that is the access to the outside and where the dogs like to come running, and like they're splattering mud everywhere and stuff like that. Like we just need a really good, like, you know, easy to clean kind of paint. So that's what we're going with. And if the trim in there is going to be white, it needs to be very easy to clean. And so I said high gloss is what you guys should go with. It is a little reflective, but honestly, I personally find it to be very easy to clean, and I like it. It's very like glossy, obviously, so it's a little reflective of the light, but I really don't think that that's that big of a deal. And again too, like that room specifically would be the room that I would say hands down has to have, like, you know, easy to clean trim, just because of how kind of dirty that room ends up getting from dog stuff running through there, and just like, you know, and just people walking through there too with, like, you know, and you put your hands on the door to go and, you know, use the slider and stuff like that. It's a lot easier to clean versus like a flat paint. That is that is a nightmare trying to clean that if you have a very high traffic area. So like I said, we still have to get that, but anyways, happy to get that done today. And like I said, I took a shower earlier because me and my dad actually went for a walk today, so that I got a 1.5 miles in, I think over 1.5 miles actually today, and then ended up coming back. I think after that maybe we did the third coat, and then I took a shower because I was like, I had paint kind of on me and I just wanted to get it off. So and just make sure to anything that I kind of missed, because for the most part I didn't really seem to get any on my face or anything like that. It's just my arms were really horrible, but like when I did upstairs, I got a lot like on my face and my hair, stuff like that. I didn't really notice it this time, like it wasn't as splattery, or, you know, like I got speckles everywhere, but like this time didn't seem like it was as bad. I still just wanted to take a shower once we were done and like called it a day, that I didn't have to worry about, you know, like I said, paint in my hair or anything that I didn't see or didn't notice. But I'm going to, like I said, go brush my teeth and then get to bed. I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give the old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.